Alright guys, welcome back to Racing Direct. Now today, I wanted to jump into the current Formula 1 sprint format. We got our first one of the season this past weekend in China, and while there were some good racing battles going on track, there are some interesting changes that I am proposing for the current Formula 1 sprint format. So make sure you've hit subscribe, like the video, leave those comments, let's jump into it. So yes, the first sprint weekend of 2024 has come and gone. Honestly, the sprint race was very good. The sprint qualifying was very exciting as well with that rain coming into effect. Obviously a mixed bag of results. The rain is always good for that. Weather is always fun in Formula 1 or any form of racing for that matter. However, the format itself for the sprint weekends is really bizarre to me. Now, when they first came around, of course, it was just your standard qualifying session that determined your order for the sprint, and then your finishing position in the sprint determined where you started for the Grand Prix on Sunday. I thought that was a pretty reasonable format, very easy to follow. For those who raced karting like myself back in the day, this was a very similar format that was used in a ton of different championships. However, now, of course, we know the sprint format has changed, and it's basically its entire little sideshow that's different from the Grand Prix altogether. I think that is extremely bizarre. Now, yes, of course, I understand there's a lot of profits to be made for Formula 1 and the FIA. I totally understand why they're doing it, but to have a separate sprint shootout, I think that's what they call it, I'm not even 100% sure, that determines your order for the sprint, and the sprint has no effect on the Grand Prix, is just so strange to me. Yes, there's still a lot of points up for grab in the sprint, and guys are going to be fighting at the top, but for the teams in the back half, the likes of Williams, the Alpine, the Sauber, it doesn't really make any sense for them. Why on earth would they battle so hard on track and race each other hard? There's nothing to get out of it. If you're starting, let's say P15 back to P20, you're very likely not going to be scoring any points. So what is the purpose of risking the car battling on track? Maybe get some bad damage and you either miss the qualifying for the actual Grand Prix or you miss the Grand Prix altogether. And yes, that is a very big possibility. We already saw it happen this year with Williams, where one car crashes and it's damaged so badly they can't even compete in the Grand Prix. So yeah, really, again, the profits, I get it. It's a business at the end of the day. But this change makes absolutely no sense. If you want better competitive racing on track, then you have to go back to the old format. It worked so much better. It gave those smaller teams a reason to fight at the back because they can improve their starting position for the Grand Prix. This new format serves absolutely no purpose for those teams. Again, yes, we did see some good racing up front between a few cars, but as we know these days, a lot of the good racing happens towards the back and the middle pack of the field. So to take away any incentive from them to actually compete with each other and race hard on track really just doesn't make any sense. So I am just proposing to go back to that old formula. And while we're at it, considering that Formula 1 is looking at the possibility of extending the point scores at every race from the top 10 to the top 12, why not extend the points finishers in the sprint too from the top 8 to the top 10? 10 points for first and then descending down to 1 point for 10th. I think that's a pretty reasonable change. Of course, yeah, there's a couple more points up for grabs, but again, that will make for more interesting racing and give some more drivers and some more teams towards the back more reason to fight with each other. Yes, of course, that was just the first sprint we had of the year in China. There are more to come, but I think it's going to be a very similar problem in those races as well. Of course, yes, if we get more battles towards the front of the field in a shorter sprint race, then that's great. It's good entertainment. I get it. But if you want good racing all through the field, you need to change this format back to the old one where it actually has an effect on the Grand Prix on Sunday, or else what on earth are those teams doing at the back? There's no purpose for them to even be there. They might as well not even show up. It could just be the top 10 or the top 12 going for the points. But yes, let me know what you guys think. As usual, I want to hear those opinions. Do you like the current sprint format, or do you prefer the old one? Or do you think we should just abolish the sprint races altogether? Honestly, I'm not completely opposed to that idea either, but it looks like they're sticking around for the long run, and if they are going to stick around for the long run, then I think that old format of determining the starting position for the Grand Prix on Sunday is a much better option, and again, definitely extend the points to the top 10. Guys, thanks as always for watching and listening. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, comment, and share. You already know what to do. See you guys next time on Racing Direct.